I'm out here working on the baler, pulling the metal guards off, the shields, because you have to in order to get to putting on the tines. They don't come off easy, which I think is why the new plasticky guards only have these divots where the metal guard has this little tab that locks in. That tab is on this one, it's bent, and on almost all the ones I pulled off, they're bent or non-existent. So and the metal guards don't flex or bend very easily. In order to get them out, they bend too easily in the field, but they're really pain to get off of here. So I'm hoping. I ordered some more of these. This fits. It's a good match. So I'm going to go with those to replace these eventually. Certainly, there's enough of the metal ones that are damaged. I needed to get new ones anyway. So I'm just in here fighting space and thing. I should have lifted the roll up. And I may have to jack it up. I don't really feel like moving the tractor and hooking the hydraulics up to lift this. But that's something I should do. See if you stay there while I tighten this nut. I've been at this for far too long. This is an obnoxious task. I started out with a torqued hex bit. It was twisted. This is meant to be a high quality impact bit, but no. I twisted it like the first day I got the set. I busted that one. It works, but the problem is some of these hex head, and the other thing is it's metric. So I've got these metric hex heads that are pretty standard for tines because it's the only thing that fits down in the loop that connects the tines to the bar. And hex bits on the baler are obviously original. Some of them. I mean, I don't know, the baler came with a bunch of tines, so I replaced maybe half dozen or 8 last season that seemed to be critical. And now I'm replacing, I bought 10 and I just ordered another 8 because I decided to go, I got a lot more here to replace. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 left to do on this bar. I just replaced one. I've already put on 1, 2, 3, 5, so 6, 7. And I easily see another 6 right in front of me. So, but the problem is the bolts aren't coming out easy. And that's being a little bit of a chore. The metal bands are a pain to take out, like I mentioned before. So I've also ordered another 4 of these because I think they're just going to be a lot easier to use, and they're supposed to be as durable. We're going to find out. So yeah, this is an annoying task. Now, ideally, someone had suggested this online, that you could take this whole unit off the baler and then work on it and have it open. I'd actually be better off for me because I could get to the broken tabs that I still don't know how I'm going to replace. But I can't see an easy way of getting this whole unit off. And without seeing a diagram and knowing what I'm getting into, I really don't want to do it because I'm already down. I don't want to be down for even longer. I know there's some bearings involved. There's some plates. They'd have to take chains off. I'd have to actually have something to lift this out of here. I mean, I could get the skid steer long boom in here maybe and pick it up out of here. But and also I'm at the mercy. I don't have a shed, so you know, I can't work on this very much at night, and it's raining today, and I'm kind of working on it in between rain showers. So something's got to happen. But I'm just, for now, I just want to get as much of these bent, broken, and damaged ones replaced and get things working so that I can get back in the field. Because it certainly isn't working right now, and it isn't going to pick up. I mean, I was having so much problems the last time I baled trying to get hay in. Part of that was 2 missing shields, but also the number of broken tines. And I think a lot of that was just, I don't know, the mud, the soft ground. I'm going to have to readjust the pickup reel. So somebody suggested that you could run these way higher than one might think. And that should save me bending and breaking tines. I'll lift it up as high as I can get away with it and still be able to collect grass. Because these tines, you know, they're not, as far as tines go, $3.75, they're not horrendously expensive, but there's 18 on a bar and there's 4 bars. To replace them all at once would really suck. It's bad enough you gotta take off. Fortunately, the metal shields are really hard to come on and off. Like I showed, that tab is really a pain, and they're also got quite a lot of tension on them. So having to take a metal shield off just to replace one tine, chances are it's not going to happen. But the fact that I've got multiple tines that I need to replace at each shield moves that location up in priority. And I also think the plastic shields won't tend to wear out the tines as much. They get quite soft and worn and bend then, and then they break. See how thin that is? It's worn flat from riding up against that. I'm gonna leave this because it's not actually impeding anything, I think. I'll have to see. Sometimes as these go around the back, see how they drop and are back inside, so when they come back up through the housing, they actually catch up on the inside, and that causes them to break. So like this set here I'm replacing. I'm gonna replace this set because it's pinched in. So yeah, it's just kind of a mess picking my way through this. I should have done more last season, and I also shouldn't have hit a rock this spring. That was I really need to get the excavator over into that field and dig that pair of rocks out, because they're just at an awkward, they're small enough rocks, I think. They stick up at an awkward angle, and I catch them.
One eternity later.
In the dogged perseverance stage of this Baler project, I am down to the replacing bolts and cutting bolts and working on the tines. I've got 5 tines left to put in. I think I only need to do 4 of them. There's all different colored tines here now that I've gotten different batches, but I'm down to the bolts that won't come out easy. So I've tried everything. Finally, my Sawzall was seized. The mechanism for changing the blade was seized. Finally got it loose after about an hour of messing with it. So I am, where's my wrench? Really getting tired of this project. It is endless. It is non-stop problems. Bolts that are seized, nuts that won't come off. It's tight working in here. Yeah, it's just not fun. And there's no easy way. I suppose I could have just dropped a nut again. And now that there's tines everywhere, it's harder to work. And this bar is in my way, making my arm numb. Dropped it again. Well, lost that nut. Rolled down the driveway. No, that's one that I had to saw apart. I only bought so many nuts and replaced parts. Oh, really? These nuts, the new nuts, won't fit in my wrench tightly enough to use the wrench to hold them up. And there. why? Why? Okay. There's another one on. So now I have one more bolt that I can't access, can't get loose because it's stripped. I'll have to sawzall off. I think I've got two more of the tines here. Let's see, I'm gonna rotate this around. This is not easy to rotate. Oh, come on. Oh, God. Don't understand why this is not going around easy. Wait, there's the ones I need right there. This one and this one. All right, this isn't easy, that's for damn sure. Try that. I gotta take off this tine here. That's the wrong size. That's the big size for the replacements. This is the right one for here. Oh, good, that's loose. That means it should be slightly easier to replace. But where's the wrench? Here. I have to reach up in. So it's a pain to remove these shields. So I just took out the shields that needed to come out so I could change these, but that means you got limited wrench throwing space. So I've got all those in. Let's see, I put two in. I could replace this one, should replace that one, because it's in the center. So I'm gonna replace that one, and I gotta replace this one. This one, I have to cut the bolt off, the nut off with the Sawzall. I might be able to get that one. Oh, and there's one down there that I should replace. I think I gotta Sawzall the nuts off all these because they're just, thank God I got the better blade on the Sawzall, because they're just not cooperating. That was obnoxious. Oh, it's on fire down there. Yeah, that was kind of obnoxious. All right. So I can put that one in. And I got a few others to remove. All right, all you Claas Baler geniuses, what am I going to do? The two tabs down there are missing. They've broken off and fallen off and disappeared, so I don't even have them to weld back in place. What am I going to do to hold the bottom edge of the shields? I had thought about trying to span between that one and that one with something that would catch the two in the middle, but the tines go almost all the way to that plate. So that's going to be impossible. I can't take this off. I can't get into there to weld it. Don't have a clue what to do about those two guards, this one and this one. Well, I finally got it out. It's this little thing has been the bane of my last 2 days working on the baler. This bent up hulk of metal is really this end of this piece here. And the nut that's in here. It says it threads on up into a captive nut on the underside of the baler, but the big problem is this piece of metal was folded down over that, so you couldn't just put a socket on it. I had to use an air hammer to chisel and pry that up. Get that little flap moved enough to get a socket on there to where I could loosen it, and then it was no problem, except this is upside down and underneath with about 3 inches of space under the baler, so way deep under there. So it's been a struggle to get it. It took me quite a while to get the tab that it was bent. The whole thing was down and bent upside down from where it's supposed to be, and so I had to wrench it up as best I could, far enough until I could get a ratchet strap on it and pull the tab up high enough to be able to get a socket on it and then do the air hammer work. So, phew. Thankfully, that little struggle is over. I still have to straighten that tab, and it's a little twisted. And then I'm going to put one of the new plastic, or whatever they are, composite shields on. And then I still have, well, I got 2 shields left of the new ones I bought. So then that leaves me 3 metal ones that I have to somehow put together and form where some tabs are missing on the underside. So I'm finally back to working on the baler. It's been days since I've touched anything. I managed to get the guards on, all but maybe 3 of the tines replaced. I fixed that wonky, twisted, busted up end and got a bracket on it, a shield. And so I am making the 2 little brackets to finally replace. One's lost and this one had come off. It's busted off. That's what sits down under there and holds the lower end of the guard. And so I have made this. I still have to drill and get it mounted up in there with some bolts somehow. I don't know how, but at least I've got the concept. Captive nut is where the captive nut is there. I've sawed off, there's a little, see that little tab that's on there? I sawed it off of here where it went there, added a hole, and now that means this bolt, which I'll weld on here in a minute, will sit down in that hole and act as a second pivot, anti-pivot point, because that's really what all these guards, they have these tabs on them, top and bottom, that hook in to the holes, specifically this little square hole. Let me tell you what a pain in the ass it is to get those in there with the flex of the shield. So they sit in there and keep it from racking side to side, but I don't have that option. I can't make a square hole. My 3/8 drill bit's dull, so I can't drill a big enough hole, but I think this little 5/16 nut bolt will work just fine. So I'm going to get those tacked in there, and I'm going to get under there and try and drill and bolt this thing onto the frame. That isn't going to be easy. So what I wanted to do is impossible, because the reel inside the center here is in the way for a drill. And I do have a nifty right angle drill attachment, but even that with a bit is too big to get in the location where I would need to drill those holes. Also, can't weld. And even if I could get the computer out and return it safely and everything would work fine, which I don't think that would happen given the age and the condition of this thing and my luck. Even if I could get the computer out and set the baler up so I could be welded and I could clear off the metal for welding, I can't get the ground anywhere close easily to where I need to go, and I can't get the actual tip in. I would be able to put a bead here or there, but I wouldn't trust it. So that's not an option in my mind. Not with my limited skills, abilities, tools, and working out here in the driveway. So I've got another possible solution. It's I've had some dental work going on and some bad teeth and some pain and some BS going on there. So I'm thinking of a sort of a temporary filling kind of thing, a little bridge, as it were. So I'm going to take these two bands off. They're attached up here. I've attached them to the down below. Let me get this out of here. Down below, I attached them to the bracket I made. That fits in there kind of nice. Not exactly in the right place, but close enough for government work. I guess that expression is probably really outdated and probably shouldn't ever use it again. I'm so sorry. So I'm going to, where's my socket? I'm going to take out, I put the other one in. I'm going to take the two of them out and I'm going to weld a little cross piece on that sets the two bands at the back at the correct distance, but also helps hold them in place against the permanent band part, mounting pins, tabs, whatever they are. We're gonna try that. I'm just gonna tack it and fit it and see if it works like I hope it does. And then if it does, I'll weld it and I'll call it good. Well, there's what I've done. I thought I could have tabs that would sit down in there on either side of these ones, but I just couldn't get it fished up in there and I had to cut them off. The tines are in the way. So this isn't easy. And fitting this in now that it's attached and with welds on there is a bit of a jigsaw piece, because not only are we fighting tines, but we're also fighting shape and bend and everything else. I can't film this. Well, these definitely hang lower, but they seem, I mean, they're moving as a unit. They flex as a unit. I don't know if they'll come out as a unit or whether they'll break, but that's, it's more what they look like down there. Maybe? I don't know. You can move around, but they seem rigid enough. I think what it's gonna take is me getting the PTO hooked up. Now that this is completely rebuilt, if this works, and I really hope it does, because I've been delaying any other haying until I could get these parts put in. And I should have been able to have gotten this done days ago, and it just was that much fiddle and that much other stuff going on that I didn't get to it until just now. So I got to get this baler out of here anyway, because we've got our second Sunday supper of the second month this coming Sunday, and the baler's right in the way. So good that this is finished, or at least I hope it's finished.